My name is Sasha Kondrashov and I'm an instructor at the School of Social Work, Faculty of Health Professions, Dalhousie University.
And how does fair dealing affect the way you teach your courses?
Fair dealing for me was a great way to ensure that I can have variety of opportunities to access resources. For me, primarily fair dealing is a connection to accessibility of resources, which are before I needed to always ask permission and use going through bookstore copyright. Now, if it's within the limits, which I'm very excited to know that there is always still a limit to protect copyright, but at the same time it allows for me as instructor to get resources so for students with more accessibility and more opportunity to them to know if they want to do more, if they actually want to read more from that particular resource, they have opportunity to access those resources through our library. But for teaching, it's created much more easier access to resources and a faster way of connecting them to students.
And how does fair dealing affect the way you do research and author?
I think in general it will benefit all the research community. For myself, I mostly do teaching, so I benefit from somebody who do research. But what I'm hoping is whenever you have fair dealing, that we can showcase a different research in class and students can learn from them. So it will encourage to do research because if students know what's currently happening and they have access to the research, they will build on that research in their future practice. And that's what for me, inspiring to see with the fair dealing, and it's become quicker opportunity to get access to the resource and for authorship to promote research and to share their work with wider audience and more public. That's another possibility of doing with through education.
If there was not a fair dealing exception, what kind of changes would there be to your work?
The major change is taking time to find resources which are accessible to my students. So meaning the biggest concern is we will have limited opportunity to find and provide resources to students when research published. Within fair dealing, it allows us to give 10% of the resource, for example, one chapter, which I found very helpful, or 10% of specific document, so students will know what's going on right now. If I don't have it, I will still need to do more research for myself, even to find resources which are acceptable. Not always it will be the best resource because it might take time to get copyright clearance to ensure that it's available for students. And particularly in online classes, the same opportunity will be challenged to ensure that I follow copyright law. When you have a little bit more window of opportunity as instructor, you have more chances to select resources and you're not limited yourself to those only which are already copyright clearance. And in this way, it's faster the process, connection to students better. So if it's not available, it simply takes longer. That's the biggest, and that sometimes can be a factor when we want to do a new innovative research and way of doing things.
How does society at large benefit from fair dealing?
When the word fair, it should be always for all parties. And in social work, our goal is fair, mean inclusive. If more people will have access to resources, and when researchers know that their work will be more shareable with others through education, I think society will benefit from knowledge which was generated through research, and authors will get more credited for their work in a way I would see fair, because it's important that authors will create material and know that their material is protected, but it's also create opportunity to expose themselves to wider society audience and create new changes. What if we have more knowledge? There is a possibility through education. I would say you need to still understand the resource, have critical discussion and dialogue between different group members. When we have opportunity to do it and less restrictions, that will hopefully will create more opportunity to grow and learn for everyone, including not only students but society at large.